I'm talking to Peter Stoffer, who's the MP for Sackville Eastern Shore.
Yes, sir.
You and I have been at this so long, I still remember the old name of your riding, which was longer. And I thought I would just ask you about the kind of autumn we've had here on Parliament Hill with fatal shootings and really nasty allegations and a lot of rumors because the allegations against some of these MPs are unproven and to some extent not even public. And all of this in a pre-electoral period when there would naturally already be a lot of stress. What's it been like for some of your colleagues?
There is no question it's been really stressful for some of them, especially I like to think some of the younger ones. They're handling it very well, but considering this is their first term, and in the 3 years have been very, very eventful for them. And if you include the last couple of months with the shootings, which some of them are still having concerns about, a bit nervous, as well as the allegations of sexual impropriety, it's been one to remember, and I'm sure a lot of books will be written about this particular time period, but hopefully they'll get through it. I mean, there's lots of support systems out there for them, but I am a bit concerned about them and how they go forward in this regard.
What have you learned since you became an MP, 97 you were first elected, that you wish you'd known then?
That it's much easier to get something done if you start working with members of the other parties instead of always becoming you're a New Democrat, so they're Liberals and Conservatives, they're the enemy, you know. It's simply not true, and vice versa. I've met many of the other side who treat us like, oh God, we can't hang around them or be seen talking to them because the kids in short pants may report back to the boss. Simply not true. I find through committee and other processes that if you work with them and give them an idea and then work in a positive way, in a proactive way, you can get a lot of things done.
How much of your work schedule is concentrated on the business around Parliament, committees and stuff like that? How much of your time do you spend worrying about files back home?
Roughly 80% of my work is files back home, and 60% of that are people outside my constituency,
Really?
Mostly in the veteran community and the shipbuilding file. I've been working on those for an incredibly long time. And yeah, so most of my work is on veterans files. We still have a lot of CPP claims, EI claims, and you know, immigration concerns and all those on a regular basis. But 60% of the 80% of the work that I do is from people outside my riding, from across the country, seeking my advice or our office's help in some form or another.
Do you have most of your staff here or back home?
No, 1 here, 3 in the riding.
Really? And is that enough to handle the files back home, or are they swamped? Or
they're busy, there's no question, but it is enough at this time.
Yeah.
Because we're able, now my staff is so experienced, they don't have to delay or look for things, they have it at their fingertips, and we're able to answer a lot of the questions and concerns immediately.
As you look forward to the election next year, a lot of people were surprised when you said you were going to run again, because you had a big announcement to announce your decision. People normally say that if there's an announcement, that means it's no.
Yes.
Talk me through your thinking about how you decided that you were going to run again.
Well, in June of this year, I was seriously considering leaving. About 95% I was done and move on to other opportunities for myself. But my wife and I talked about it a lot, and a lot of veterans across the country were calling me on a regular basis saying, Peter, we still got all these problems in the departmental problems, plus the fact that I honestly believe there may be a change of government. Now, it may be a minority government, it may be a majority of another way, I simply don't know. But if there is a possibility of a change of government, then maybe I have a chance to somehow influence the direction change of the Department of Veterans Affairs. And if I can do that, then my final years here will be hopefully a successful one.
Does that mean you're bullish on the NDP forming the next government?
I am, of course I am. I believe, we're like the side view mirror of your car. We're closer than we appear, But I mean, if it doesn't happen that way, then we'll wait to see what the Canadian people give us. But I'm hopeful that we'll become a majority government. We'll do everything we can to achieve that. But if it doesn't happen, then you have to be realistic and work with what you have.
People read all the news that's coming out of Ottawa these days. Scandals and allegations and spending abuse and so on. And they get a little discouraged about the political process. Are they right to be discouraged, or is there another side of it that you would want to explain to them?
I think they have a right to be alarmed about the direction their politics is going. And as you know, power is being concentrated more and more in the hands of one person. But that's been that way for a long time, probably since Pierre Trudeau was here, that more and more power goes to him. I wish that wasn't so. I wish that Parliament was supreme in terms of its decision making, and that more of us can make decisions and more cabinet ministers can make decisions with free without being scorned. For example, if you have foreign affairs ministers say one thing and defense ministers say one thing, if it doesn't align perfectly, we in opposition shouldn't be jumping all over them, or the press shouldn't jump over them, because there's a slight difference of nuance of opinion here. And we in the same as opposition. We need to understand that there's only so much money around, and you're going to spend it on certain priorities that you as a political party would like to have. I only wish we were able to explain that in a way which is more pragmatic and not necessarily dogmatic in its format.
Peter Stoffer, thanks very much for talking to us.
Well, thank you, and the very best.
Cheers.